Greetings, Band Warriors. Greetings. Greg is here. Hope everybody's doing wonderful. Looking forward to having another good conversation. Talking about life, talking about healing. We're talking about all kinds of shit. Feeling some momentum. Savannah Banana. She's in the house. How you doing, Savannah Banana? Did you give yourself that nickname? You are absolutely in the house. Adam's here checking in. Checking in from northern New Mexico. Ooh, I'm ready to talk life. I'm ready to talk a lot of shit. See if we can put some fire out there. Get some people fired up about life, doing life, healing, taking ownership of the situations that we have put ourselves into. Your legal name is Savannah Banana. Nice. Well, good for you. You own every situation. That's a beautiful thing. Taking total ownership. Yeah. Taking total ownership. That's pretty rare. Not too many people do that, right? And so when we look to improve our lives, it takes that, right? Extreme ownership. For me, hit the rock bottom 13 years ago. Man, oh man. I feel like I'm never excited to talk about rock bottom 13 years ago, but I've gone to a place along my journey that I just own the story. I own the story. The story's mine. I know what went down, and I know that my side of the story is different than someone else's side of the story, but I still have to take ownership that for me to hit rock bottom, right, took multiple DWIs, right, drunk motherfucker. And what got me started on this 13-year healing journey was being arrested for domestic violence. And man, oh man, that's if something like that don't change your life, then nothing will. I think that's the realest thing I've ever said. Right? If that does not change you, then nothing's going to change you, man. Like if that type of a situation where you hit rock bottom like that, it was wild, man. I was so wasted in that time frame. I was like, so part of my story was after 2008 and 2009, I was in Southern California. I was married, and me and my ex, we were just starting our family. 2008, 2009, I'll take you in a time machine. I was living in Southern California, had a business right there on the coastline, San Clemente, California, South Orange County, just gorgeous every day. And I was running a promotional products company. That's what makes me love doing all the branding and the beanies and the t-shirts and the stickers. I even got some new stuff right now, man. We got some new stuff coming out here. But yeah, I got into t-shirt printing actually, and then that's what led me into getting into a promotional products company. Check out this bracelet. These are going to be called the positive energy results kill excuses positive energy bracelets. On one side, it has the logo. On the other side, it has a little saying. You could flip it. There's actually a results kill excuses bead. It says, keep going. A lot of you can't even see that, probably it's so small. But it says, keep going. Find a way, not an excuse. And the beads that I've selected for these positive energy bracelets are hematite, onyx, and cat's eyes. And I'm looking forward to putting those in the shop here very soon. They're also right. They're also going to be a part of the Results Kill Excuses Breath of Life Healing Circle Founders Group. Right, you're going to be getting sent one of these first edition Results Kill Excuses healing bracelets, and these are big beads too, man. These ain't like the small ones you see. I went a little larger. It's good energy too. I could feel it right when I put that on my wrist. I could feel it. I'm really big into. That must be a gift of mine, but I'm very sensitive to the stones. So let's go back to 2008, 2009. Ouch. Ouch. Fucking tough times, man. So I'm sitting there in my business, and my business was booming. Like 2007 to 2008, my business, promotional products, man, it was rocketing. That I had actually taken out a big business loan and reinvested in my business, bought all kinds of new t-shirt printing equipment and embroidery equipment. I was like reinvesting in the company because it was taking off. Only to find out later that year, 2008, everything got crazy, 2009. And so when I went through that wake up call, 2008 and 2009, I was in Southern California. I had a promotional products company. It was called What's Your Signs? San Clemente. Man, it was so beautiful. I was living a good life. I was making a tremendous amount of money. And yet, no, we don't do music. I'm not a music request station. We're talking life here. And so when the economy fell off the cliff, man, that was a tough loss. I just purchased like a couple years earlier, like a dream home, pool in the backyard, just ocean view, walk to the park. I mean, it was a pretty impressive thing having succeeded in Southern California, growing up here in northern New Mexico, in a pretty rough upbringing, right? My mom used to work multiple jobs most of the time, always fights about money. And so when the economy fell off the cliff, that really like kind of destroyed my dream. And I had a big dream. And I'm someone that kind of lives by that saying, go big or go home. And I kind of started spiraling at that point. And I landed up having to close down my business, which sucked. I tried to sell the business. That's what was so shitty. Is I'd taken out a loan, purchased all this equipment. I had actually paid the loan off early, and then all the economy started falling off the cliff. And yet I went to the bank to see if I could get another loan, and they were like, "Nah, man, we can't do that for you." And I said, and then so I tried to sell the business, and the guy who went to the bank to try and buy the business, they're like, "We're not gonna lend him the money, and we like him. We're definitely not gonna lend you the money." And so it was just like, what? I can't even sell my company. So I literally had to like liquidate. And so liquidating a business plus all of our household stuff, we literally went into like garage sale mode for, it had to have been 4 months. Every weekend, boom, garage sale, garage sale, garage sale, garage sale, garage sale. There were some funny stories in that. I used to have one of those big, You remember those big, like right now we have screens, right? Just like thin screens, but we used to have the big box flat screen TVs. I mean, these things were monsters, man, especially if you had like a 50-inch or 60-inch. I mean, this thing was like a big, huge deal. I remember this one time, like we were like, we weren't trying to make a whole lot of money with the garage sales. We just wanted to get rid of everything to lighten the load as much as possible, making that big of a move going from Southern California back here to the home state with our tails between the legs, right? Because we had chalked up such a big loss. And I remember one of the funny times, a funny memory I had from the garage sales was one time I had the big TV, right? This huge, big TV. And we had put it out on the curb, like for it to be free. And I swear to you guys, this minivan, right? It was a little minivan rolled up and like the door like swung open and you just see all these hands like reach out and grab it. They didn't even stop to load it. They just reached out and grabbed it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably a van full of like Latinos, but it was just like, you know, 20 hands just reached out, grabbed this huge TV and just like drove off, man. Me and my ex-wife were looking at each other like, did that really just happen, dude? These guys just didn't even stop. They just rolled open the sliding door, grabbed the TV, and drove off. It was great. It was great. That was one of the funniest things, man. I can't even believe that happened, but it did. I can't believe the economy fell off the cliff and I lost everything. That did too. I thought I was a stud, man. I was in my mid-20s with over $1 million in real estate, investing, multi-unit properties, everything toast. And so then that caused me to move back here to my home state. And in doing that, it was like once we got back here, it was just like that's when like everything fell apart, right? That's when the depression set in. That's when like the whole mental, emotional breakdown happened. And we were fortunate enough that we had saved enough money um, that we had planned that we could probably go a year without working, that we could really kind of reestablish our life. And I was back working within, I don't know, maybe 3 months. I started my first job post having a business fail at the hands of the whole economy failing was I was an artist, a designer for a book publishing company. And I actually was a part of a few like award-winning books, a cookbook and a like this, history book about northern New Mexico, which was fun. That was like a fun job. It was an independent book publisher though, and so the guy couldn't really pay me. Me and the owner had an altercation once because like I would work they lived in a compound and the main guy would work out of his office in another building and then me and his wife would work side by side because she was a creative and we were in charge of all the book stuff and he was mostly just sales. And so I would always know when she would go do the run to go to the bank to deposit money. And there was a lot of times I put checks in and it didn't clear. And I'm like, fuck, these fucking people, they can't pay me. But again, it was rough times, right? It was still like coming off of what I had experienced in California. So, but there was a few times that I needed the money. So I timed when she went to go make a deposit and I went right after her to go cash my checks. And the dude accosted me one time. He was so pissed, man. What the heck? Da da da. Because something else must have not went through. And I'm like, dude, don't ever tell me how or when to get my money, bro. Because at the end of the day, like I'm sitting on like a month and a half worth of checks. And so that was sort of the beginning of the end. The crazy thing is I was sober. My first time getting sober. Oh, that's an interesting story. Great grandpa. And so my first time getting sober, I went 3 years, and that's what leads to the 13-year sobriety now, is so I had gotten my second DWI in, 2008, and the following year, that's when, like, I was already on a bad spiral, man. Things were getting really, really tough. And so anyhow, I had gotten sober after that, and I lasted 3 years. Actually, it was I take that back. It was 2007. And so moving back after the collapse of my business and just pretty much my whole life, it was like a modern day wagon train when we moved back. It took weeks to get a U-Haul rental, and once we finally did, we had like a U-Haul rental towing another car, a truck towing another trailer. It was like a modern day wagon train. It was like the reverse of like because it was bumper to bumper traffic. Everyone leaving Southern California for sure. And you know, once I got back here to my home state, that's when like the depression kicked in. That's when like the sense of like, what the fuck, man? What a failure, right? I really beat myself up because I was doing so good, man. And there's a part of me that's like, fuck, that shit wasn't if anybody ever seen the movie The Big Short, right? That talks about all the manipulation and stuff that was going on. And it was like, I got sucked into all that shit. And it's like, I didn't fail because I got lazy, because I didn't want to work hard. I mean, I was willing to work 24/7, 365 if that's what it took. I hardly ever told a customer no. And I used to have a promotional products company. So it was just, we were popping. So part of me is like, wants to play a victim or wants to think, oh, it's not my fault. Fuck. But at the end of the day, I didn't do that, and I chalked it up as I'm a failure, right? I failed. I failed my family. I failed myself, right? We had this dream, living in Southern California, thriving, which we were doing, and yet it was to think that we could have kept riding that wave and seen my kids grow up in that beautiful place, and here it was that I was back home, and I always had this saying throughout life: "Go big or go home." Well, I'm here in New Mexico. I went big, I got chewed up, I got spit out, and I'm here now. So how do we get to 13 years sober? Well, I moved back and I was sober because I'd got my second DWI in 2007. So this is 2009 summer. And the book publisher guy couldn't pay me. So I started searching for some other jobs. And there was this one job that popped up. It was like banner, poster designer, sign shop type thing. And I looked, I saw the listing and I looked and I said, man, that I kind of had to eat some humble pie, because what I imagined is I was gonna be working for my former self, meaning, I went from being the boss to now I'm gonna be like the grunt worker of like making signs and shit. And so I answered the ad, and here I am sober. And what it turned out to be was it was one of the beer distribution companies needed an in-house sign designer for all the, like, every liquor store, everywhere that you can advertise alcohol. They needed somebody to be the master of that. And the money was just too good coming off of that loss that I said, and this other dude not being able to pay me, that I said, yeah, I mean, I don't, as long as I don't have to drink, man, I don't mind making you guys signs, like, whatever. And I got to be my own boss, and I was like, all right, cool. It was a good time. My talents, they still use my designs, and I haven't been in that industry in 13 years. because we're going to get to how this all went down. And the point of it is for you, if you're listening and really tuning in tonight, it's to understand that to heal, to get unstuck, to break through to a better place. In my experiences, it's taken rock bottom moments. It's taken the hardest lessons. And if there's anything I can do along my journey here and putting this message out there, is to hopefully help someone to not have to do that. Someone can hear the message and be like, you know what? I probably am going down a really dark path right now. I should probably fucking change directions and do it out of my own willpower versus being awakened to saying, like, again, man, if you don't change, something's gonna change. Something's gonna come and stir your life up. And yet, so I start working in this beer industry and I become a rock star. Like, I put all my skills, because I was one, back then I definitely was one of the top graphic designers. And so me putting that skill into this, I changed the whole entire market. Even the competitors wanted to like poach me, and everyone wanted to copycat my designs, and elevating the whole entire marketplace visually was like, I kind of put myself on the map. And what happened is I got invited from like a big time beer representative to go out to a Dallas Cowboy football game, VIP status. Like, it was like a incentive, right? For just how much I was kicking ass and helping their brand grow in the market just by the designs. And yet here I am still sober, right? And so I go on this trip. I land in Dallas, and it's wild because even when I was doing all the designs and stuff, like sometimes I'd have to go to events and like drop off stuff and be around alcohol and stuff, and it never fazed me. But here I am. One of the first events that they had was like all the players of the football team, Dallas Cowboys, right? Like all the big time players, having a meet and greet with them with beer and just, all this shit. And, everyone's drinking except for me. And like a lot of like big time guys, everyone wanted to meet me because, I'd kind of created a bit of a stir in the state of New Mexico in terms of, they like the visual stuff. So everyone kept offering me drinks, and I'm like, nah, like, I don't drink. And they're like, what's wrong with you? What do you mean, man? You don't drink? What, how are you? Why are you here? Kind of like, I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I just don't drink. It's not my thing. And they're like, don't you know who we are? I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, well, we control all the beer. And I told a big time person, I don't know who the fuck this guy was, but he was a big, way high up in, the corporate world. And he's trying to tell me how he controls all the liquor and whatnot. And I said, yeah, well, you might control the liquor in the stores and shit, but you ain't gonna control that in me. And if I start putting in me, I'll fucking burn this place down. And he looked at me like, what? Did you just say that? I was like, yeah, I just said that, man. That's how serious I am. And he's like, all right, man, like, whatever. Kind of offended, right? It was like sort of a, I was that hardcore though. I was mad because this was my first sobriety, 3 years. I got sober because I was really pissed off. I got set up on my second DWI. It was a setup, but I put myself in that, right? I put myself in that situation, and I was angry. And so I got sober out of anger. I said, fuck this shit. And if you want to know about the DWI that led to the sobriety, I was running my promotional products company, and this new bar club was opening up, and the guy had come to me for all of their promotional stuff. Like, I did their big signs. I mean, we're talking tens of thousands of dollars of business, all their merchandise, their t-shirts, uniforms, hats, everything you can think of. Big, big business. And so as a gift, the guy says, "Hey," the owner said, "Hey, when we have our grand opening, I'm gonna give you like a $1,200 tab for you to bring you and your friends, family, whoever to come and celebrate with us." I said, "Yeah." So there I was, the grand opening, and it was the weirdest shit, man. The weirdest sequence of events, right? Isn't that how all these situations happen? Sometimes you gotta pay close attention because maybe some of you are having some of this now. And so I'm in the bathroom taking a leak, and this guy is staring at me, and I look over, and I'm like, "Oh, shit." It was a customer that he had dropped an order and had flaked on picking up his shit, and he wanted to, like, hash it out with me in the bathroom, and I'm like, "Dude," I recognized him. I said, "Bro, I don't give a fuck, bro. You know what? I don't even want your money, dude. Just come pick up your shit, dude. It's just sitting there collecting dust." And he just got all, like, I don't know, he got all offended in a weird way. I can't say I was super nice to the guy. I just basically told him, "Go fuck yourself, like, pick up your shit, dude. I don't need your money." And he was like trying to be my buddy, but he's drunk. He's trying to be my bro. And I'm like, "Dude, I don't give two fucks about you, man." And so I go back to the bar, and I'm just sitting there. I'm sitting there minding my own fucking business, having just had this altercation with this guy in the bathroom. Next thing you know, this girl comes up to me, which turned out to be his girlfriend. And she starts talking shit to me. And that's like, fuck, are you kidding me? I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" And she's like, "Da da 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 da. Who do you think you are? You can't talk to my boyfriend like that." It's like, oh fuck, dude. That's the worst. For you ladies, if you ever have to jump in and fight for your man, you got the wrong man. Like, that's not it. That's not it, man. I have a daughter, and I've told her, man, if you ever don't ever jump into a fight for a guy, that's just bad. And so I tell her, like, she's just like ripping me, right? Arguing, yelling at me and shit. And I say, "Get the fuck out of my face. I don't know the fuck you are." And one of her friends was a bouncer, right? And the guy hears me tell her that. He's like, "Hey, you can't talk to women like that, bro. You're out of here." And I'm like, "What? I'm out of here? What the fuck is going on here, man?" This girl came and fucking started talking shit to me. And he was just playing the game, right? Because he didn't know who I was. He didn't realize I was there as the guy that he's wearing my shirts and fucking uniforms and shit. He doesn't know who I am. It's a brand new joint, and they just hired these guys in. And the owner wasn't there. And I'm like, dude. So I start getting into an argument with him, like, "Fuck you, bro. Who the fuck do you think you are? I'm over here." I basically point out to him, "You're wearing my shit, dude." Like, he's like, "I don't give a fuck, bro. You can't talk to girls like that." Next thing you know, I have like 10 guys wanting to fight me. And I'm like, "Oh, fuck." And I was there with a homie, and I couldn't find my friend. And so I just felt outnumbered. I'm like, "I'm out of here, man. This is bullshit." And so I start walking out to my car, and I get in my truck in the parking lot, and I'm like trying to call my now ex. I was trying to call her. I was walking distance from my business, so I could have walked there. I was a pretty long distance from driving home, but I was just sitting in my car. And I did remember hearing one of the bouncers say, "Call the cops on him. Fuck that guy." So I'm in my truck, and literally a cop comes up, knocks on the door, and I got a DWI sitting in the fucking parking lot from all this shit. And so that's what fired me up to get sober the first time. And it went 3 years, but it was just pure anger, man. I was so fucking mad. I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me, dude?" And what was so sad about this time is this was in the fall of 2007, that when my wife bailed me out of jail, from getting a DWI, my daughter was like 6 months old, right? So she's there with a stroller, and I'm like, "Dude, what in the fuck, bro? How did I get myself into this mess? And so it infuriated me. I said, I'm done. Unfortunately, when you change direction in life and you do it out of anger, right? Or if you're just walking around with anger, right? If you're angry, if you are angry at somebody, if someone has hurt you and you're just, you're just walking around with a chip on your shoulder because of somebody doing something to you, directly, indirectly, or any way in between, it's not going to end well. It wears you down. It wears you down. Anger is like one of the most draining energies that you can have in your life. When you're angry, it's painful. And yet there I was, just fucking angry, sober, but angry. And so then we fast forward, right? We're about 2.5 years into the future. So we're DWI 2007. So we're at 2008. We're going into 2009. And I'm working for the beer industry. And then I'm at this Dallas Cowboy football game. And I made it through the VIP, right? The whole VIP meet and greet. And then one of the reps came up to me, and it was a woman, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to go out and have sushi?" And she invited me and this other guy, and I said, "Yeah, that sounds cool. Let's get the hell out of here." I didn't. And so there I am having sushi, and they order up some sake. And for whatever reason, my mind was like, man, sake sounds good right now. Like, that's not really that alcoholic. I should be all right. Maybe a little sake, right? There was just something. I had a moment of weakness. Well, that one shot of fucking sake come by, right? That night, right? The drunk motherfucker came full. I mean, it was like one come by, and the drunk motherfucker came full force out. That me and the chick fucking bounced, but me and the dude that I was hanging out with, we literally went on an all night bender in fucking Dallas, Texas. I mean, just out of control bender to where, again, we're there to go watch a football game, which was on a Sunday. So this was clearly Saturday night. And first thing in the morning, we had like a VIP tour of the stadium and another drink party, and then the game and all this, like the whole pregame thing. It was just like the total VIP experience. Me and the dude get back. We're like rushing to get back, which is probably like 8 o'clock in the morning, having gotten fucking wasted all night to get to the bus. And we literally got dropped off in a taxi, didn't even go shower, didn't do any of that, just go straight on the bus. And guess what the bus is all about? Partying. Guess what everything else is about? Partying. And this motherfucker just went all in. 18-month death spiral. That's a motherfucking relapse. And I hadn't told my wife at the time. She's now my ex-wife. I didn't tell her that I had relapse, but I showed back up to New Mexico after that bender, and I didn't stop. I definitely didn't stop. And until I crashed and burned, right? And that was an 18-month death spiral. Like I was getting so wasted, and especially being so irresponsible. I mean, it's that self-sabotage. It's like all of the pain, all of that failure that had happened, and losing the dream, losing the business, having had gone all in on that thing, and felt like, fuck, how the fuck did this get snapped up out from under me? When I was just kicking ass. I was kicking ass so hard, man. And yet to have lost it in a way that's like, it wasn't, I felt like there was greater forces than just me saying, "Oh, I'm lazy. I don't want to do the work." It's like, no, it wasn't about that. There was something greater that took me out, and that was painful. Fuck, that was painful. And that's what that death spiral represented. But I can remember driving, man, right? One eye fucking I mean, I always say this, you know, I should have, because of how irresponsible I am with alcohol in my system, I should have been the guy that like kills innocent people because of being a fucking drunk motherfucker and not giving any fucks about nobody else. I should have been that guy, right? And I should have probably been in prison for the rest of my life for doing some dumb shit like that. But for whatever reason, you know, this fucking guy always found a way to make it home, man. Cause we didn't have Uber back then. So that's the other thing you think about. It's like there was not Uber, and where I'm living, there wasn't taxis really. So, and that was also just a way of life. Ever since I was a kid, I remember one time I was probably 16, and I was driving. My grandpa had a Jeep Cherokee, and I'm with my buddy, and we were going out to this party, like kind of in the outskirts of town. And we used to always have big parties like this. And we were heading in, and we see all these cars like fucking fleeing from where the party site was, and everybody's like, "Man, gunshots fired, get the fuck out." And we're like, "Oh, what the fuck, gunshots? That's crazy." And we had a cooler, right? We had a cooler in the middle center console full of beer, and we're just like driving and drinking, and that was how it was out here in northern New Mexico. Everywhere we went, high schoolers. And this is how it gets even crazier. If this doesn't fuel your ego to think that somehow you're bulletproof, somehow you're unstoppable, we got pulled over by cops leaving. Like we turned around. We didn't even get into the party. We had turned around, and the cops were starting to roll in from the gunshots because there was a neighborhood close by, and they probably heard it. And the cops had pulled us over, me and my buddy, 16 years old, and they're like, "What the fuck are you doing?" We're like, "I don't know. We're getting the fuck out of here. Somebody said there's shots being fired." And they're like, "What? Have you been drinking? What's that in the middle?" And we're like, "Oh shit." And they're like, "Do you guys have liquor on you? How old are you?" We're like 16. And the cops literally just said, "You motherfuckers better get your asses home now, or we're going to take you to jail." And we're like, "Yes, sir. We're going straight home right now." And that's it. It was just a slap on the wrist. Two drunk kids fucking driving, 16. It's like when you have experiences like that, you're indestructible. That's how you feel. You feel like I don't even understand it. When I look back at my teenage years in a microcosm, I felt like as teenagers, we were the ones in charge of so many things. It's like we had hookups everywhere we went. Like, I don't understand it. Like, how in the heck? I look at my kid right now, my son's 16. I'm like, dude, this, you know, all he cares about is this. He's not out there running the streets and doing bad shit. It's the wildest thing. It's the wildest thing. But that's how irresponsible I was. But where the rock bottom happened is one night I was sitting at the bar on a bar stool at the VFW, right? Veterans of Foreign Wars. And I had switched from being the sign guy in the beer industry to now being the professional bar crawler. I was like the guy that sold all the beer to all the bars. I'd been promoted because I had turned to the dark side, right? I started drinking. They're like, "Damn, this dude's drinking now? Oh shit, we got to get you in the bars, man. You're going to do good over there." Yeah, it was crazy. Underage, especially back in like the 90s. I mean, fake ID, man, we used to make so many fake IDs. We'd make fake IDs to go to Mexico. We'd make fake IDs to go to bars. I mean, even my buddies, I mean, we used to have drive-through liquor stores here when I was in high school, and guys would drive up and speak a little Spanish, kind of Spanglish, and order beers. And I mean, we had the security guards. You think about at the high school, there was security guards, right? And I'm not even boasting here. I just, as a parent, as an adult, I'm like, dude, how did if only this guy was here now to be able to fucking save that juvenile delinquent version of myself. Just searching for some kind of meaning in life, direction in life. Fuck. Painful. But literally, the security guards, we used to put in orders of alcohol and drugs to the security guards. And if you've ever been at a high school or just picking up your own kids at school, it's a jam, right? It's a parking lot. These guys would literally stop the traffic, wave me and my buddies through, and literally have duffel bags full of especially like on the Fridays for the weekends, duffel bags full of alcohol and party favors for high schoolers. Then these were grown ass men, like old adults. It's like, how the hell did we have that much power? It felt like power. That's all I can describe it as. It felt like power. I don't understand how kids had that much power at such a young age. It's really interesting. And yet, obviously, that sense of entitlement and power, it caught up with me. So then I'm sitting at the bar the night of the darkest night of my life was when I got into the domestic altercation with my wife. I was clearly 18 months into this death spiral, having had my relapse and just drinking, man, drinking so fucking much, man. I was drinking more than ever before. And then I was also a professional bar crawler. So I was getting paid to go to all the bars. I could just sit there with my little computer handheld, put in their orders, and they would all just feed me drinks, and I'd give them t-shirts and neon signs and bullshit. It was out of control. But I'm sitting there at the VFW, and I've already drank like 2 pitchers of beer. It's like there was no limits, man. They're just like, whatever, dude. As long as you're still sitting upright, bro, we got you. And I remember getting text that night from my wife, and she was like, "Hey, do you want to go eat?" And it was a restaurant like right around the block from where I was at. And I think I said, "Yeah." And then so she gets to the restaurant. "Hey, we're here. Where are you?" And I'm like, I think at that point I went blank. And she's like, "Hello, where are you?" Like every 5 minutes, like, "Hey, we're ordering food. What do you want? Where the fuck are you?" And I'm just like, I was just so inebriated. And eventually, like, we've eaten our dinner. Where in the hell are you? And I just remember I put V. And she knew. She came kicking down the door practically and kind of made a big scene. And I mean, that's kind of what fueled the altercation, is that she made a big scene in there in front of everybody. And yeah, we got in the car and we were just like continuing to argue and just having this argument. My kids were there, they're crying, we're arguing, and we get back home and it wasn't fun, It wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't it was me mostly just self-sabotaging. Um I'm not someone that ever like physically like needed a punch or anything. It was like more she was the aggressive. She was angry. I was just depressed and down and like wanting to just delete myself. And she was like angry and frustrated because, look of the state that I was in. And I had been acting this way for that 18 months, just super down, like super depressed. And so she was more the aggressor, and I'm like trying to, hold her hands from doing all that. It was just like, fuck. But that alone was just, it was just too much, it was just way too much arguing and getting physical like that, that it was kind of weird, she left with the kids that night, and it was like 3 days later I thought we were actually like kind of over it and had made it up, because I didn't think like it had gotten really crazy that night. Not that it was great, but again, it's like, it's not like someone with my power unleashed my power on her so that it's just like, whoa, this is crazy. It wasn't like that. It was just frightening. It was just very confrontational, argumentative. And there's just two people that, like, we were both back in our hometown, probably a place that neither one of us really ever wanted to be back in, especially not under those circumstances of like failing and feeling like we were forced to go back. And so, yeah, it was like 2 days later, man. It was the craziest thing. Like, the cops showed up, and it was like, I thought we were already sort of like patching things up. Clearly not. And it was funny because I was getting ready to go pick up my kids from school, and I had just got out of the shower, and so I just threw on shorts real quick, and I saw cops come. I was like, "What the hell?" My dog went running down the stairs. He scared him, so they closed the door, and I went down there to talk to him, and they never let me back in the house. So I literally got arrested just in like fucking shorts, man. It was like, I didn't have my phone, I didn't have my wallet, I didn't have anything. Yeah, that was a tough situation, right? That changed my life, right? That's what has me so sober minded to try and be a beacon of light for people that are self medicating, self sabotaging, self abandoning, self destructing. When it's to say like, man, there's help, bro. Like, you can get help. You can get past your feelings, past your circumstances. I guarantee it. And it does not have to be the hardest lesson like it was for me. Because again, 13 years ago, there wasn't people putting their story out there and owning their story, having gone through, a healing journey and a spiritual awakening. But I knew, right, when that happened, I got, being in the jail and stuff, it's just like, fuck. I got hit with restraining order, divorce papers, you know, um, and the criminal charge. So it was like the triple whammy, man. I was like, whoo, what did I do? And I just knew from that day forward, like, I wasn't the previous sobriety, right, where I got arrested in a fucking parking lot. Um, that was anger. This was broken. This was me being completely broken, totally broken as a man, as a soul, as a human, totally broken. Where I was like, this is it, man. Like, I'm done. I'm done. Like, I know that there's a better version of me inside there. And I know that although I feel like giving up, I'm not gonna give up. I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure myself out. And I'm grateful I did. Right? I'm grateful to be here to even share this level of like intimacy and a story of just, man, just, and there's so many things that I wish I could have done different. There's lots of things, there's lots of regret. However, what gives me peace is the understanding that it's up to you. Each and every one of you listening right now, it is completely 100% up to you whether you want to be defined by your mistakes or you want to surrender and allow yourself to be refined, a refinement of going through a difficult situation and allowing that refinement to make you the best version of yourself, to turn around, right? Like if you're religious at all, I mean, it would be like a form of repentance, right? Repentance is you're going in one direction and you turn it around, right? Right? You turn it around, a complete different direction. And there's some of you listening right now that you absolutely need to shift and change your course. And it may not even be that you're on the death spiral that I was on, but maybe you're just living this complacent, miserable, frustrating, unhappy life. And acting and telling yourself, right? You're telling yourself that you're helpless. There's nothing you can't do. Like you feel helpless. There's nothing I can do about it. Right? This is as good as it gets. I'm doing my best. And it's not true. Because every person listening to this message right now, you doing your best is literally moving mountains. You are picking up and moving mountains out of your way. Mountains would be symbols of problems. You would be a problem solver. You would be facing your fears, facing the biggest challenges in your life. You would be taking these things on one step, one day at a time, with a goal to say, I have a mission to get beyond this. Yeah, thanks for that. I do feel like I've come a long ways. I have the receipts to show it. I'm still doing work. I'm still healing. It's like the things that I'm reprogramming now are just different residual parts of this human experience, codependency. Like, where does that come from, right? Where does the codependency come from? Well, like, I know where it comes from. And yet it still shows up in little doses from time to time. And it's something that, for me on a personal level, like, I don't want to feel like I need to be codependent. Interdependent is good. Having somebody that me and the person that I choose to do life with, that we have, you know, um, compatibility, but also what's the word I'm thinking of? Complementary, right? To have somebody that has complementary gifts and talents. Right? I got some ingredients, they got some ingredients. We put those ingredients together, and guess what? We can make a meal that's going to feed both of us and so many other people from here on out. Yeah, you're welcome. I know I shared in bits and pieces, but for whatever reason, it just felt I don't plan these things. It just, the story needed to be shared tonight, and that's cool. Right? It's cool that that's just the way I do life, is in flow. The messages I give, it's like I don't put rehearsal into them or write a script or reading off of something there. I mean, I'm just speaking from my heart, my soul to your soul. And that's why it's like, if you do connect with this message that I'm speaking, my soul and your soul have made an agreement to work together, to help each other, right? And it's like, yeah, I appreciate that, Jennifer. That means a lot, right? Authenticity. Again, along this journey, I told myself I'm done bullshitting myself and I'm done bullshitting others. Like, under any circumstance, I sometimes get asked questions that really like make me uncomfortable, and I wanna manipulate. I want to be a little deceitful. I don't want to tell the full truth. I want to hold back some of the details, but that doesn't work for me anymore. I wanna live as clean and clear as possible because when we do that to people, right? When we do that, especially people that you're saying you love, when you hold back the full truth from people you love, you're doing that out of fear. It's out of fear. You're afraid to lose that person because you're definitely not doing them a favor by saying, "Well, I don't want to hurt them." It's like that's not hurting. The truth, dude. The truth. We say, that's a false, right? We say, "Oh, the truth hurts," and it's like, well, it hurts wounded people, but it ultimately when what you're really saying is the truth hurts you to say. It hurts you to say it because you have programmed yourself through survival to tell lies, to be deceitful, to manipulate. And as I see 555 right now, that's a number of change, right? If you're somebody that is not honest with people that are depending on you and counting on you and saying they love you, I mean, you need to get that shit right. Right? It how do you sleep at night? How do you expect for things to go your way when you're walking around with deceit? And I'm saying this from first person experience, right? I program myself. That's a hard thing. I mean, how many of you could like again, one of the journal exercises that I talk about is taking that inventory, the light side, all the beautiful, pretty things about you, the amazing, incredible things. That is who you are. But there's another side to you. It's the shadow side. How many of you can write down truths about who you are? Controlling, manipulative, you're a liar, you're a thief, right? Those things, it's like, man, we're so sensitive about like taking an honest inventory of our shadow side. And it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. But it just means that in your life, this is a life review, not just in the now, right? That if you have done those types of things, you need to see that if you've done them in the past, you can do them in now and you can do them in the future, given different circumstances. So when you just with an objective mind can list out the dark side of who you are, you'll no longer be living in denial. You can accept yourself with clear eyes, and thus when you can accept yourself with clear eyes, you're not a walking contradiction. You're not walking around with thin skin because somebody is seeing who you are and you're in denial of that, so you project it back on them and get confrontational with them. And it's like, because why? Because you can't admit that ain't nobody here innocent. That's the wildest thing. Nobody, zero. There is zero innocent people walking around. Everyone has hurt somebody. Everyone. Everyone. The sweetest little grandmas, right? 90 years old. Everyone's hurt somebody, right? They've all done it. We've all done it. It's you can't do this life without getting dirty. Right? And the things that we want to hide and suppress and try and keep in that so-called skeletons in the closet. That is chipping away at you, whether you want to acknowledge it or not. I can guarantee you, when you're carrying around a lot of guilt, shame, regret, anger, sadness, fear, grief, right? When I say carrying around, that means it's on the inside of you. You haven't allowed it to be processed and cleared and released. When you're carrying that around, it is weighing your soul down, your spirit down. And yet the cool thing is if you have total control over releasing that. But yet so many people are so in denial because why? You're so distracted. But I can guarantee you if you were to let someone like me into your life and fully see who you are without fear of like, okay, I'm just going to let this guy see what's going on with me for real, for real. I'm afraid of everyone else knowing who I truly am. But for whatever reason, if you could find the trust to see the vulnerability, the exchange of like, look, man, like this is the real, you already know in your heart of hearts, there are so many things in your life that are a secondary issue because of you carrying around all that energy that's not doing you any good. It's not giving you life. It's causing all these other aspects of who you are. And addiction issues is at the top of that list. And addiction isn't just substances, it's food, it's gambling, it's relationships, it's in sex, it's gaming, shopping, you name it, negative thinking, right? There's a million different things right now that we use. This, social media, sports, entertainment, anything, anything to get our minds off of the fact that somehow, newsflash, 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 newsflash. You're not perfect. Neither am I, nor is anyone. But you trying to portray that you have such a high standard of perfection because you're like, you want to hide all this other shit. It's like acknowledging your dark side is the most empowering thing you could do. It's the most empowering thing you can do because the minute you do that, here's what happened to me. When I fully took inventory of all the good and the bad, right? When I totally fleshed that out, I mean, I wish I had my journal here right now. I'd just read this shit to you, but it's like, it's stuff that most of y'all probably could never say about yourself. Most of y'all could never admit. I don't think there's a human being on this planet right now that's not a liar. Does it mean you lie about everything? No. But it does mean that in certain situations, you do not tell the truth. And wouldn't that make you a liar? Does it make you a constant liar? No. What do you want to call that? When you don't inventory that to just say, yeah, there are some times that I don't tell the full truth, that I'm not completely honest. Right? Well, that's lying. And yes, you have a reason why. And that's what we do as adults. That's what messes us up is we give ourselves these passes. We write our own rule, right? That exonerates us from the label, and it allows us to do something that, again, because we fear complete honesty. But I don't think there's a person out there that is 100% honest all the time, myself included. Like I'm telling you, because I can admit that I know that I am probably 9 times more likely to tell the truth. However, I have realized that there are some times that I'll hold back the full truth. And what I'm talking about is, in my circumstances, as in the now, part of the healing is now that I've found my true voice, my truth, and I no longer fear retribution. That's why I can speak everything I just spoke right now. I'm not worried. I'm not worried if you judge me. I'm not worried who's out there. I don't care who's out there. I know that that's medicine. That truth is my truth, and it'll be medicine for somebody, and it'll be offensive to others. I'm not trying to win every heart and every mind. But here's the thing, where I still see myself holding back is when situations get tense, especially in a intimate relationship, and I don't speak my truth. I don't communicate my needs. That would be to me manipulation. It's like I'm thinking I need something, but I'm afraid to say something, so I go silent. I've been working on the whole silent thing, is to really connect more with my heart, to be able to speak what it is that I need in all moments, and realizing that I have patterns when somehow I think that there's a fear of potentially being abandoned or rejected or, you know, left, that I start to hold back some things. And some of that is, I've had a lot of experience where I have been open and honest, and I've had that used against me, right? I've had it flung back in my face. It's kind of a betrayal. So that's a part of it too. But even then, I'm saying that's on them. That's on that person. If that person wants to use something I say, something I revealed to them that may not even be a belief, it's just a thought I had, and they want to use it back against me, that has more to do with the other person than it has with me. Should I take that personal? Should I not tell the truth? Should I withhold information? I don't think so. I don't think I have a reason to do that. I just know that I walk around with a much more clear and clean and transparent conscience inside, right? I'm not sifting through all kinds of like fear and like worrying about, whatever. I have regrets. I've already said that. I know that my actions have hurt a lot of people. Guess what? Uh-oh. Yeah, you listening? That's true for you too. Can you admit that? Everybody that can admit that, like type of one, that your actions have hurt other people, right? Like, it's not like the scariest thing. You just, does that make you a bad person? No, it makes you human. This is the whole experience. We're supposed to experience these things. The key is to learn from them, to be refined. Because I do believe that people that we have hurt the most, yeah, that's great, Adam. I'm grateful, man. I'm grateful that I know I am guiding people, and that's why I keep showing up. But it's like we're so afraid. We're so afraid to just say, you know, I've hurt people. But it's not until you wrap your head around that, you're not so sweet. Doesn't make you a bad person. Here's what I believe. I believe that the people that have come into our lives, that it's created the most like tension and the most pain and the heartbreak and the worst experiences. You guys can take this for what it's worth, but I believe this with all my heart, with all my mind, with all my soul, and with all my strength. I believe what I'm about to say. You take it for what it's worth. You don't have to believe what I believe. But my thoughts are that at the soul level, before we come to this experience, the people that are in our lives, that especially that you have those really terrible experiences with, y'all made an agreement to meet at a certain time, to have a certain experience. And it was like you knew that it would be painful. It's painful in the moment, but yet it's what propels us to greater heights. For some people it doesn't. For some people you don't wake up, you don't get the message. You stay caught up in the pain body and the suffering and the sadness and the anger and the hatred. And you're seeing that right now. You're seeing the meltdowns right now from half the country. They're just melting down as if changing one thing would improve their internal state of being, and it wouldn't. especially if the one thing that they want change is on the outside, because that's good medicine. It's good medicine when something aggravates you, when something angers you, when it's about you, not them. That's where most people fail to have the veil lifted, to see like, oh wait, if I'm getting emotionally stimulated in a negative way, hatred, anger, madness, rah, if you're feeling that towards what someone is doing on the outside, it's all about you. It's a full-length mirror. You need to you're the answer to your anger, madness, rage, hatred. It is not out the things on the outside changing. Nothing on the outside is going to fix that. You have those feelings inside of you, because what it's really about is somewhere in your life you didn't feel that you had control over your life. And so when you want to try and control things on the outside, could be in your family, could be in a relationship, could be in the country, could be in your city, in your state, you think you're the one that needs to control these things, and your energy and your anger and your hatred and your ideas is what needs to be the thing that changes what's there. None of that changes what's here inside of you. As I see 111. And what's inside of you is all that you have control over. That's it. You don't have control over what's outside. But if you're so focused on the outside that it's literally emotionally stimulating you into fits of rage and anger and depression and anxiety, which is also triggering addiction issues, overeatings, over drinkings, over whatevers. So that's the vibrational energetic chart. I mean, that's the literally that's the blueprint, man. That's the blueprint. If you're in the lower half, you're suffering, you're focused on all of humanity, you're focused on all the political stuff, you're just so, you know, and we all have those feelings. We all have experienced those things, but it's like, can you get still? Can you get quiet enough? Which again, here's a plug. If you haven't signed up yet, right? If you want to work on these parts of who you are, I have something for you, right? You go to resultskillexcuses.com and you click on Breath of Life Healing Circle, right? And in this group, you're going to be able to feel safe. First and foremost, you're going to be safe, non-judgmental. It's going to be a safe place for everyone that comes. But we're going to focus on what I would consider the three most powerful spiritual healing practices within a 90-minute session, which is going to be some reflection work, journaling. We're going to do some visualization work so that you can start to reconnect with what? Inner child, higher self, and others. And we're going to do the breath work, which is going to get you out of your head, not looking at all the distractions, and you can start to get into your body. And when you get into your body through breath, right? We breathe 20,000 breaths a day, and most of us do nothing, no breaths with intention. Most people. And yet the most powerful thing that I've experienced, sounds like I'm hyperventilating, sounds like, I don't know, I've had people say all kinds of stuff. I'm telling you, if this wasn't like complete medicine, it's changed my life, even going 13 years in the process. To add this has absolutely accelerated and homogenized, right? It's pulled together so many things in such a focused way for me to truly fine tune and heal and clear and connect with so many parts of myself that I otherwise would have completely just kind of kept going through, kept trying to work through. And yet, no, it's there. It's there. So if you would like to join, you should at least check out the link. It's in the bio, it's down below, but you can also just go straight to the source, resultskillexcuses.com. We're going to meet 3 times a month, 90 minutes. And you don't have to know anything about what to do, right? You don't have to know how to do these breaths. You don't have to, all you got to do is have a pen, have a notebook, and have a comfortable place to lay down and be able to be online so you can hear me guiding you, right? That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do is sign up, show up, and just, I would call it surrendering. Just surrender. Don't overthink it. Again, there's no question in my mind that your soul, my soul, we have agreed to work together. So when are you going to take the step to work with me? To work with me, right? This is not an exchange that somehow I'm going to do the work. It's us working together for you to start getting some breakthroughs. If you go onto the website, there's a whole schedule, right? Sundays at 9 a.m. is when we're going to meet 3 times a month. The schedule is up from now through August. It's a monthly membership, so you pay once and it covers all 3 sessions. I think later down the road, I'll probably do drop-ins, but for now, I want people that are ready to lock in and to take that leap of faith, to say, you know what? It's time. It's time. What else are you going to do? What else are you doing that's somehow giving you results, that's somehow getting you to another place, right? The chances are you're not. You're waiting for something, and the waiting is over. It's here. This is it. This is the thing. This is the thing. The breath of life healing circle, right? This is the thing for you, right? And that's the problem. If you've tried it on your own, right? Most people do fail when there's not accountability. Most people also fail when it's like it's free. It can't be free. You need to take the leap of faith. I feel that it's reasonably priced. It's the right price. I believe it's a fair price, and it'll be, even just showing up one time, you're going to be like, "Oh yeah, I got my money's worth. I've never felt this great." Can you imagine that? 90 minutes. Mark my words, you show up, you're going to be like, "I've never felt this great." And you're going to keep coming back, and you're going to keep coming back. And then the beautiful thing is what I teach you in the class, in those sessions, you're going to be able to integrate and start to develop your own practice on a daily basis, but you'll have the Sunday group to come back to come home to be able to like reconnect, right? To stay on it, to stay after it, to stay accountable. It's going to be a beautiful thing. It's not something you're going to want to miss. I can tell you that. It's not something you're going to want to miss, especially if you're here. If you're here right now listening to this, connecting with this at any level, like, is this a sales pitch right now? Yeah. But you're the one that wins on this. 9 times, like there's an exchange there, but I am telling you, by signing up for the Breath of Life group, you're going to be like, are you kidding me? I can't believe how incredible this is. It's so incredible. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I went and got certified. I'm like, this has to be a part of what I am doing. We've been talking a lot about journaling. I do visualizations, but to pull together the journaling, the visualization, and the breath, man, that is like the trifecta of absolute. Yeah, May 4th is the first session. You all you got to do is sign up. Go to resultskillexcuses.com, click on the link, Breath of Life, and there's some videos on there. So even if it's like you can watch the video, there's an overview. There's even me doing a little walkthrough of the materials, like things you could bring if this is for you. There's the schedule, right? Something that I wrote is, right, who is this for, right? Those of you that are listening right now, who's it for? Let's see if any of this hits you. Are you somebody that carries quiet pain and deep stories that long to be seen, held, and gently released? Right? Are you someone that's been suffering in silence, is what that literally means? Are you somebody that feels the weight of emotions unspoken, but is ready to let them breathe? Right? Then this is for you. Are you someone that is seeking more than just talk, right? I do therapy. It's talk. This is more. This is healing. Therapy is talk. Longing for healing that lives in the body and spirit too. Are you somebody that knows there's something more on the other side of fear, grief, and numbness? Are you somebody that wants to get beyond your fear, your grief, and the numbness that you're walking around with? If you are, this is for you. The breath of life, healing circle. It's for you. Like, don't even overthink it. Sign up now. Sign up. Are you somebody that craves a sacred space to come home to themselves again and again? Right? You're wanting to develop and understand these practices. What, I don't understand how you wouldn't be getting enough oxygen. You get so much oxygen. I think your body's not used to that much oxygen. And so getting a little lightheaded, yeah. But again, breathing with intention takes practice, because most of us are shallow breathers. Most of us are only breathing in the top half of our lungs. Unless you're somebody that gets some real intense cardiovascular exercise, you're not getting deep lung breaths. So you're just taking it all for granted. 20,000 breaths a day, 7.5 million breaths a year, right? Just all automatic, shallow breathing, just enough to get by, right? So even though it's something that you're like, I'm not getting enough oxygen, you should know that that's not really a true statement. It's how you feel. And my guidance would be just surrender to that. Keep, like, show up, try it, keep doing it, keep doing it. You will hit a breakthrough. I guarantee it. Especially if you're not used to this. Most people don't know how to breathe. When you have to start thinking about breathing, like with intention, it's awkward. It's a little bit, you're a little bit like out of rhythm and harmony, but guess what? It's something that you can work on. It's something that you will improve little by little. Little by little, you'll find the coordination. You won't be so uncoordinated. You won't feel so uncomfortable. I mean, when I first started, I almost had like a panic attack because my hands were curling up. My heart was like, my body was vibrating. My heart was getting all juicy. And I just surrendered to the breath, kept doing it, and my heart opened. It literally opened like a flower. What we don't realize is that our hearts, they're muscles, and we close it. All that pain, all that stuff you've been through, we close our hearts. And you know it, you have a closed off heart. Most people are walking around with closed hearts. Why? Because you've been hurt. Why? Because people have hurt you. And you don't want to be hurt no more. So you close your heart. It's guarding. But guess what? That shuts you down energetically. You have to reverse that. And the way you reverse it is by breathing. That's what opens up your heart. The breathing is what opens up your heart, the breath of life. So again, I'm inviting all of you to join in this, just out of curiosity, to just say, yeah, the juicy heart, man. The juicy heart's good. The rock, the solid, the stone heart, that's what most of us have. But when you get a juicy heart, it's like, oh, it opens up and then it starts to bloom and blossom, and you just feel it. You feel when you're open hearted. You feel it. It's like you're back to being that little child that had open energy, innocence. Everything was beautiful. Everything was fun. And then, here comes the bad stuff. And then you're like, oh, what is that? Why? How come you're hurting me? Why are you doing that? And we start getting afraid and things happen, all the bad stuff. And we close our energy. We close our heart. This is what happens. And healing is all about reversing that, opening your heart. This is what healing is, to open up your heart again. So the group is also for you if you desire tools that don't just soothe, but transform your life. This will transform your life. This group, there's nothing like this right now. There's nothing like this. This was going to transform your life. So for you to be a part of this, it's like, man, like, please join me. Please join me. And I've already said, look, you show up for 3 sessions the first month in May. You show up to all 3 of those sessions. Participate, do the reflection work, do the visualization, do the breath work. You do those things. And if you're like, I didn't really get nothing out of it, you send me an email, you tell me you didn't get nothing out of it, and I'll check your attendance, make sure that you actually showed up, and you can have your money back. Like, I'm not trying to um take advantage of anybody. I want to give. I'm going to over deliver on this one. This is going to be an over delivering. So anything that you are having to pay to get in there, which is $80 right now. If you get the founders group, it's $80 for the month. You break that into, 4.5, probably going to be 6 hours. I mean, that's pretty reasonable. That's really reasonable. A lot of you could spend $20 on a burger. And that doesn't do you as that won't even, like, you give up one burger for one of the breathworks, the healing circle sessions. Oh my goodness, man, you're gonna be like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? How is this so good? That's what you're gonna be thinking. How is this so good? If you're somebody that is ready to remember that you are not broken, you're just becoming whole again, this group is for you, right? If it's truly your time. Right? If you're tired of sitting, thinking, wishing, waiting for something to happen, right? You don't have to go to it. It's come to you. It's here. It's now. Sign up. Right? Join the Breath of Life Healing Circle. This is like the reason why I get so excited about this is because I had an experience about a month ago, I guess now, when I was going through an 8-day workshop of breath work, getting certified. And it was like, there was a moment that there was 40 of us and we would break into groups of 2 to help facilitate the breath work in each other. And I was sitting there helping somebody, but I was in a room full of 40 people and half of the people are breathing and half of the people are facilitating. And I was just so filled. I've never been more filled with joy. I was just like, this is the most beautiful thing ever to see people just healing with intention, surrendering to their fears, surrendering to the things that have held them back, usually mental things. It's usually in the mind, to just take that leap of faith and surrender. It was like, man, this has to be the purpose of my life. There is something so special about being present with people that are wanting something more, and from the inside, to become more, to know that they're more, and to let go of everything that is trying to tell you that you're not more, that you're not good enough. Anything that is telling you that you're not, you can't, you shouldn't, right? This isn't going to work. This isn't going to be it. It's like, put me to the test. Everybody's got the receipts, man. You guys could literally decimate me. You say, I showed up. I want my money back. I demand it. This guy said it. It's here. It is here. All you got to do is do your part. Show up. Sign up, show up. That's it. And just have fun. Have fun trying something new. Will it be a little scary? I don't know, maybe. The nice thing is you get to be hopefully in a place that you consider safe, which is your home. And I can guarantee you that I provide a safe container for everyone there. So this is not like a judgment thing. There's not anything that's going to cause you to feel like you're not safe. Like, especially here, right? There's a lot of like silly shit that goes on with this. And that's why the group that is working with intention is necessary, because who are you dealing with? You're dealing with people that have said, all right, I'm going to give this a try, not people that are just dropping in here and putting dumb shit out there. So you're dealing with people that are like saying, hey, like-minded, I'm ready to heal, I'm ready to take a leap of faith, I'm ready to try something to see what this gets me, right? Is it going to be easy? I don't know. I don't think it's going to be. I mean, the hardest part is just whatever obstacle you have to overcome to smash the button that says reserve my seat, so that you're locked in. So, and the sooner the better, because the sooner you get locked in, right, you can start practicing the breath work. You can start setting intentions for when we have the group, so that you're actually going to start sending your energy into the circle. That's why it's called a circle, because we will close the circle and people will have a container to be there. And if you sign up while the founders group is open, I'm going to send you one of these positive energy results kill excuses bracelets that has hematite. It's all natural hematite, onyx, and cat's eye. And there's even a bead that's results kill excuses. I love that little bead. See if it'll show. Results kill excuses on one side, and on the other side it says keep going. Keep going. Find a way, not an excuse. Keep going. So even you could wear this, right? I'm calling these the positive energy bracelets. That mixture, hematite, onyx, and tiger's eye, is like the negative energy, like shield, right? About any negative energy. These are protection bracelets for sure. I'm calling them the positive energy though, because again, you want to be focused on your positive mindset. And then you have this little word of encouragement. Keep going. Find a way, not an excuse. Find a way to get in the healing, the breath of life healing circle. Find a way to get in there versus a reason why not. And if you join the founders group, I'm going to send you this for free, right? You can pick between the tiger's eye. I've got green, blue, purple, orange, yellow. I even have these really cool galaxy ones. They'll probably be up on the website. So when you do sign up, there's been some signups. If you're hearing this right now, I'm gonna be sending you a link to order yours. I just got in the results kill excuses beads, so I'm all excited for these beads. They're so cool. So I invite you guys to join, right? Find a way, not an excuse. Find a way to sign up. Find a way to be a part of something other than being by yourself. The heart chakra is a good one, man, right? Get yourself some green stones, right? The heart chakra is green. If you come across anything green, malachite. I just got this really cool malachite stone that came to me. Oh, man. I've been putting that on there. The other thing that's really good is green calcite. So we'll even talk about stuff like that. You know, I feel like I don't know, I have a deep connection with minerals. That's why even my higher self is called Rocky. But I use on the heart chakra, more times than not, I use a smoky quartz. I have a really nice one. I could go get it. But yeah, the heart chakra, the breath work, right? Timothy, the breath work that we do will open your heart. It opened mine. Like, it'll literally open your heart center. Dude, my heart gets so hot when I do the breath work that I'll put like, I have like 2 or 3 stones that I put on my chest when I'm breathing. And literally, you could come back 30 minutes later and those stones are piping hot. My chest is piping hot. I mean, it's just so much fire going through that open heart chakra now. It's incredible. Like, I'm not kidding. You can grab the stone literally 30 minutes later and you're like, what? Why is this hot? And it's literally not in the sun, not sitting. It's like that much energy got absorbed into these. And I cleanse my stones too. So yeah, I'm big on that. But even to get into the breath of life healing circle, really the main things you need is a pen, a notebook, and a comfortable place to lay down with a pillow, right? If you want to get into some sage, some Palo Santo, um, some incense, I like those things, and then obviously some stones, right? You can get some grounding stones, which, I put together a video. It's on there. You could go visit. You can hit the link in the bio too, or in the description. But there's a video on there that kind of shows, some of the tools. An eye mask. Eye masks are nice for that too. Um, but just when you know the color of the chakras, right? You got crown chakras, like the purple, ultraviolet. Then you have like violet for your third eye. Your blue is like indigo. Heart chakra's green. The heart chakra's green. The solar plexus is yellow. Your sacral chakra is orange, and your root chakra is red. So, like, literally just finding, even if you go rock hounding and if you find any green stones, like, I believe that the green stone would do really good on your heart chakra. Again, just if there's a color coordination, right, that's usually an indicator that it'll actually help to activate and clear that chakra. So you find like a red stone. Calcite's really good though on the heart chakra. I got one the other day, and so your hands are extension of your heart. I bought this heart shaped calcite, and literally just putting in my hand, my whole arm started getting numb from the energy on that little stone. It's kind of wild how that works, but it does work. So here we are. This has been an interesting night for stones. I mean, I don't really use a resource. The best way to go about it, Adam, is to just research it. Like, first, like, the research you'd want to look up is pull up a chart of your chakras, and then depending on where you feel like you need to clear, right? Most people need to clear the root and the sacral, because the truth be told, most people have experienced some kind of sexual trauma. Doesn't have to be physical, even psychological. Sexual abuse is a thing, and it causes damage, especially in like the sacral. And then, just the heart is a big one. The throat is a big one, blue. And so if the throat is associated with speaking your truth. If you're someone that's afraid to speak your truth, you could go in and just do a search, throat chakra healing stones, and you'll get a big list of stuff, man. You'll get a big list. I mean, that's usually what I look through. I trust most of the stuff that comes up. I'm really in tuned with that. And then there's just some that I go to a lot of rock shops. So like smoky quartz has been probably the most potent for me. right? I have some really nice. Maybe tomorrow night when I'm on, I'll bring some of my stones and I'll talk more about stones, rocks. But yeah, the smokies that I have are I have one that's really, really powerful, especially right here on the heart. I mean, so yeah, I've got a few, and you don't have to, you know, you don't really have to make some big investments, especially just starting. It's just identifying the areas, right? The heart is usually a big one. The sacral, if there's any kind of sexual trauma, the heart, if it's, if you've had any kind of abandonment or rejections, the heart usually carries a lot of that. And so figuring out what the best are for clearing that. I think rose quartz, it's pink, but it's pretty good for heart too. I've had some good experience with the rose quartz on the heart. Yeah, that's cool. The alchemy. So, with that being said, we could close out with some breath work. If anybody would like to join in, we can do some breath work. If you would like to join in trying the breath work, you could type a 1 in the comments. That way I know who's here, who's ready for that. If you just want to hang out and observe, you're free to do that too. I do appreciate everybody being here. So again, if it looks like there's a few of you that want to join in, and so we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to do some breath work. For those of you that are just here to just be here, that's cool too. Um, you might get something out of at least participating, but it's not a requirement. So I'm going to kind of get us started. We'll kind of get into our bodies. We'll start with some light breathing. Just make yourself comfortable. As comfortable as you can. Just find a nice comfortable spot and just let your body start to melt. Let your body kind of melt. Let your thoughts start to melt. And the way that we'll do that is by connecting with the breath. We'll just do some light breathing to start in through our nose and then out through our mouth. And we'll go again in through our nose and out through our mouth. We'll do that one more time. Just deep breath in through our nose. This time hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. And here in just a moment, we're going to start what's called the pranayama breath. I call it the breath of life, which is a 2-stage breath. I'll demonstrate real quick. It's 1 breath through your belly, the 2nd breath, upper chest. And it goes like, it's kind of like half breath. So you almost like want to be like sipping through a straw. And you're going to go Again, lower stomach, upper chest. Exhale. Your job for the next 7 or so minutes is just to breathe. Just continue breathing. We may do a breath hold or two. We might even do a squeeze. As soon as you come out of that, it's finding your breath again, the pranayama. So it's just always going back to the and it's up to you. You can do whatever pace you want. You can slow, fast, deep, shallow. Just find a rhythm, find some comfort. You may get lightheaded. You might feel some tingling in your hands, in your body, right? You're moving a lot of energy. And so just give yourself permission to do that. And let's go ahead and start breathing. Just keep breathing. If your head's starting to get light, just know that that's normal and it'll go away. Just keep breathing. If your hands are starting to tingle up at all, just open and close them. And mentally tell yourself it's safe to receive love, safe to open your heart, safe to be here right now. If you have any competing thoughts that are trying to take over, just tell your mind that it can rest. Just mentally ask your mind to take a little break for the next several minutes and just keep breathing. Those of you that are breathing, you're doing great. Just find your rhythm. Doesn't matter how deep or how fast. Yeah, release is the place to be. It can be scary, but just allow yourself to release. Just keep on breathing. You may want to, if you can get your body on autopilot with the breath, just allow your body to breathe. You can start with maybe some intentions of mentally telling yourself it's safe to release any fear, it's safe to release any anger, it's safe to release any shame or guilt. It's safe to let down your guard. It's safe to be you. Just keep breathing. It's the beautiful thing. All you have to do is breathe. There's nothing more, nothing less. Just focus on your breath. But you can always start to figure out how to take a little more awareness of your mind and reassure yourself, send yourself some love mentally. Just mentally tell yourself you love you, you're proud of you. As you're breathing in, you can tell yourself that you are love, that you are joy, that you are peace, that you are light. And if you've been breathing now for several minutes, you're doing great. If you would like to take in a big inhale after an exhale and hold it, you can try that. Give that a try. You just, after an exhale, and just take in a big sip and just hold. And when you do, you're going to feel a lot of energy. You're going to feel your body. You're going to feel your energetic field, your conscientious start to kick in. Just send yourself some love. See if you can think of something that brings joy to your heart. You can do the squeeze too if you'd like. It's very powerful if you flex, right? You can squeeze. And then when you're done, it's up to you. You can hold it for as long and release. And then once you release, just get back into your breath. Those of you that can hold a little longer, this is a good meditative. It's a really good fertile ground to really give yourself some affirmations, to send your body some healing. If there's anywhere that you like to activate healing when you're sitting in that breath hold, there's a lot of stillness there that you can send maybe a part of your body that's ill or needs some healing, some greater health. You can just send that specific, send healing, that healing light. Start to command your body to heal itself. And just fall back into the breath. Yeah, I appreciate you, Husker. Grateful for your presence today. Just keep breathing. Just keep surrendering. If your hands are starting to tingle, this is really it's a connection with your heart. Your heart is wanting to open. So if you've been doing this breaths with me and you want to go a little deeper, right? You want to like intensify your breath to really break through. You can dig in a little more, which would be more of an intense flow like this. And again, it takes some time to build up to that, but I highly recommend minimum 7 minutes a day practicing the pranayama breath. You can play some peaceful music, 528 frequencies, a nice healing music to breathe to, 963. Just allow yourself to just melt and breathe. Really start to connect with your body and your conscientiousness. Everyone that's been breathing is doing great. Just keep breathing. Just mentally tell yourself it's safe for your heart to open, it's safe to receive love. And here in just a moment, if you would like, after an exhale, to do one more breath hold as you start to come in for a landing for this session. You can do a hold, you can squeeze, or you can just hold and relax. But just remember there's some you've really built up a lot of energy, activation in you. It's a good opportunity to really connect with your heart, connect with your body. After you're done holding, just let that exhale happen and then go ahead and switch over to your normal breathing and just allow yourself to relax. Just soak up. You may even want to connect with your intuition. If you were a part of figuring out the name of your higher self, you may want to have a conversation, or even if you just ask your higher self if they have a message for you. This space here at the end of the heavy pranayama breathing is a pretty magical time. So Give yourself some permission to receive some downloads, some messages. Just let that river flow, that river of love, knowledge, guidance to just flow through you. Receive anything that needs to be heard. So for everybody that did join in the breathing, just send yourself some love. It takes a lot of courage. To try something new, to sit with yourself. I think that's one of the biggest lessons I've learned along my journey is healing takes courage. And we all have courage. There's just a lot of us that don't know how to take the first step. We've all acted courageous. But I think a lot of people just feel like whatever they've been through, they have to stay. Has to be there forever. And I'm here to tell you, you can heal it all. But it does take that first leap of faith, that courage. And so thank you for everyone tonight that's tuned in and giving me an opportunity to share my story. If anybody's looking for some extra support, there were some people that talked about having a hard time doing it by themselves. You're always free to reach out to me for one-on-one coaching opportunities. Greg, Greg, at resultskillexcuses.com. You can also message me here. And certainly, if you haven't yet, I highly recommend signing up for the Breath of Life Healing Circle. We do start May 4th, but there's a special going on right now. So if you're ready to take action and to find a reason why, not an excuse, now is your time. Beyond that, I hope everybody has a wonderful rest of your evening. I will see you here on the next one. Yeah, great job, man. Yeah, you're ready. You're ready, dude. You're so close. Them tears are they're just the beginning of really a river that's just really desiring to be set free inside of you, bro. To be just emotionally fluid. It's not weak. It's just fluid. It's just allowing that juicy heart to happen, man. It's a beautiful thing when you get the juicy heart. So again, everyone have a wonderful night. I send you love, joy, peace, a restful, peaceful remainder of your night. And I will see you back here on the next one because you know the drill. Results Kill excuses because if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth it. Greg's out.